Just a few weeks ago, Bill Maher told JD Vance that the Democrat Party is becoming so extreme that he could see himself voting for JD, voting for a Republican in 2028. Well, not only is Bill Maher doubling down on that sentiment, he's actually threatening to quit the Democrat Party. Take a look at what he told ABC's John Karl.
I mean, you get some Democrats.
Democrats are cowardly.
Yeah.
They're cowardly. Their party is being taken over now by... every day I hear about a new, very radical. I feel very good about, like 10 whatever years ago, like I did lose fans because, I wasn't going to go along with some of this crazy stuff on the left, too. I didn't change really on what I thought about the right, but I can't sit and just not notice stuff, which people seem to want to do because it's all about my team or your team. But, there's some crazy stuff, when we're cheering for the Intifada, I gotta cut, I'm out.
Well, I don't know if you saw Jay Clayton.
Cut, I'm out. I mean, there is no beating around the bush. He is saying that if the Democrat Party crosses this line, I'm going to have to leave. And quite frankly, it's not just Bill Maher. It's actually Democrat senators, Democrat politicians themselves. John Fetterman, who has been very bipartisan, who's been very outspoken against the more extreme elements of the Democrat Party, he is now on the record saying that, hey, if the Democrat Party turns against Israel, if this becomes part of the party platform, then I'm out as well. And look, there have been many rumors, there have been many leaks over the last few weeks claiming that Fetterman is on the verge of jumping parties. These leaks have come not just from Fetterman's own office, but from Republican senators as well. Katie Britt, for example, is famously known for being a close friend with John Fetterman and apparently other senators as well, trying to get him to switch sides here. Well, John Fetterman actually spoke to this himself on CNN, telling Jake Tapper that, hey, I would leave the Democrat Party if this comes to pass.
And if that becomes the Democratic platform, that we will now ever vote for any aid and will turn our back on Israel, then that makes me to make that decision as really what a Democrat should stand for, or being a part of my party for me. Now, Jake, I've said this, that if I change my party spontaneously right now, my views and my votes aren't going to change. It's really more of a statement and if you look at the kind of people that are winning our primaries, their centerpieces of their campaign is anti-Israel kinds of rhetoric, whether it's in my state or it's whether in New York City and what's happening in Colorado now too. If you believe the Democratic Party's future is rooted in describing Israel as apartheid state or genocidal and they don't deserve to have our support, that forces me to say, is this really make sense for me as a Democrat with these views continue to actually intensify?
Let's turn.
And look, it's fair to question Israel. It's fair to question whether or not we should be sending them as much foreign aid as we should, or as much military help and intelligence as we are. There are a lot of questions, and I get it. People have issues maybe with Netanyahu, but not with Israel itself or the Jewish people. And I get that. That is very fair. But what we're talking about here isn't just those questions, but the actual extreme hatred that many of these radicals who are winning their primaries in New York, and unfortunately, it's not just New York, but actually all across the country, that many of these people are espousing and trying to get the broader American electorate and populace to believe. It's absolutely scary. For years, the Democrats and the media railed against President Trump. They compared him to Hitler. They compared him and the movement to Nazism. Yet they, obviously I get Graham Plattner's dropped out of the race, but clearly the Democrats don't actually care about this. It's rules for thee, but not for me. And we're really seeing actual anti-Semitism rise up in the Democrat Party. But it's not just the anti-Semitism, it's actually the rise of communism. And yes, they're going to cloak it and try to pretty it up, saying, well, it's democratic socialism. Doesn't that just sound more palatable? And Bill Maher isn't falling for that crap, and he's encouraging people to say, hey, we see through this nonsense. There is an actual textbook definition of communism, and these new DSA candidates, these supposed democratic socialists, well, it's communism wrapped up in a pretty bow.
You told JD Vance you're open, your vote is up for grabs.
Yes, my vote is in play because it can't be Trump running. Mm-hmm. So I'm not living in communist America. I mean, I know the talking point is that, well, it's not communism, it's socialism. Okay, I've read the quotes from the DSA platform, from their own mouths. Don't tell me I'm not seeing what I am seeing. And DSA, again, they say things like, takeover of key industries, government. That's communism. There is a definition.
And if we are seeing this sort of tepid response and this, really, it's a threat to leave the Democrat Party. Hey, get your house in order, get things in line, or else we're out. If you are seeing this sort of rhetoric coming from someone like Bill Maher, a staunch ally, a staunch cornerstone of the Democrat Party for decades, he's used his TV show to promote those ideas. If you see it coming from a senator like Fetterman, it makes you wonder, how deep is the trouble that the Democrats are facing? Usually in midterm elections, the party out of power has all of the momentum. But the Democrats are so consumed by hatred, not just for America, but for all things related to President Trump, that they are rushing to one-up themselves to showcase how radical they really are. Whether it's the anti-Semitism that's bubbling up on the far left, or this push for communism, the Democrats are destroying themselves from the inside out. So I believe they're going to face a lot of headwinds, not just in the midterms, but as far as 2028 is concerned. Well, the co-chair for the DSA, the Democrat Socialists of America, he actually had the guts to go on Fox News. And I think these appearances are just going to continue to show to the American people that the Democrat Party, while they brag about being a large tent party, they're really platforming this extreme hatred for America.
Your family came here from Peru, really in the middle of the heat of the Shining Path. They were Maoist communist guerrillas in Peru. So why did your family come to America?
The economic situation in South America and in Peru was in a really bad place. But I think that much of what we could say is responsible for that actually was the imposition of capitalism, and American imperialism in many cases is actually what brings immigrants to the U.S. coming out of Latin America. And
so they come here because they don't like the imposition of American imperialism in the country that they're in?
Yes, in many countries.
So they come here.
In many countries, there have been undemocratic coups that have destabilized countries, and that's pushed people out.
Oh, well, you would think they would want to go somewhere that wasn't imposing that on them if that were the case. But, it's interesting.
Martha McCallum with the mic drop. Seriously, he wants to claim that America is to blame for the downfall of Peru, yet his family chose to come here to the United States. He is currently proactively choosing to stay here instead of going somewhere else. I mean, whenever you take a look at these crazies, they are just filled with contradictions. That's all they are, walking contradiction. On the one hand, they say that America is racist, America is oppressive. They say that our economic system's broken. Yet, on the other hand, they say, no, we need to open the border. We need to let the third world come in for the American dream, for all of these opportunities. On the one hand, they claim that we have economic inequality. Yet, on the other hand, they're not going to move to any other country. They're not going to move to some place that's tried socialism or that's tried communism, because guess what? It hasn't worked. And the most infuriating part out of all of this is that the people pushing for this democratic socialism, the people saying that, oh, our system is broken, they are the people who typically have benefited the most from American capitalism, from the free market. Many of these people, Bernie Sanders, AOC, Nancy Pelosi, I mean, they are not just millionaires, but they are mega multimillionaires. They own multiple houses, in some cases multiple mansions. I mean, you take a look at the Obamas complaining about how oppressed they are, complaining about how the system is rigged against them. Yet Obama, if I remember correctly, he won an election not once but twice. They own a massive mansion, multiple mansions. I mean, their lives are made. They had a Netflix deal. These people want to destroy the very system that allowed them to achieve success. They claim that Republicans are pulling the ladder behind them. No, the Democrats, they want to burn the ladder down. They want to burn the entire house down. So when you take a look at all of that in its totality, it's no wonder that the Democrats are facing such massive headwinds heading into the midterm elections. Like I said, they should have momentum on their side, yet they are polling at historic lows. And it is so bad that even CNN is forced to admit this.
We've been talking about the fact that Democrats might be waking up this morning a wee little bit nervous. Why is that? Well, there's new polling out this weekend which suggests that while they are leading in the so-called generic ballot test, the race for Congress, it's not by much, and certainly maybe not by enough. With us now, CNN chief data analyst Harry Etten. So the numbers show what, Harry?
They show a big worry sign, at least compared to history, because I want to take it back through the history machine. And I want to note, okay, House National July, CNBC, Washington Post poll average, midterm years. This is the generic ballot, right? Where were we back in 2006 when, of course, Democrats would go back on to win the House? They were up by 12 in an average of those two polls. How about 2018? They were up by an average of 10 in those two polls. Look at where that average is now. Well less than half of either the level of 2018 and 2006. Way down there. Yes, they're ahead, but they're ahead. I have to shrink down on the screen. They're ahead by only 4 points, which is significantly less than what we saw in 2018 and 2006 when Democrats took back the House.
And don't be surprised if that 4 points gets a lot smaller. Let's say, just hypothetically, I get gas and oil right now are all over the place because of what's happening in Iran. But let's say that definitively by September or October, this war comes to an end. Well, gas for sure is going to plummet. It's going to go way down, which in turn is going to lower a lot of prices. It's going to help inflation. Let's say job numbers really skyrocket and improve the next few months. There is so much that can change. On top of that, we do know that the Republicans are sitting on a massive financial war chest, and the Democrats continue to keep electing just more and more radicals in their primaries. So it's creating a perfect storm where I think it's going to be really difficult to predict what's going to happen. I think we're living in unprecedented times, and we're seeing this, by the way, on the campaign trail. Democrats are being heckled, they're being booed, they're being attacked by their own voters. It's not Republicans going in to these Democrat primaries, these town halls and rallies that are causing a scene. I mean, in 2015, 2016. Remember, the media, they claimed that Trump rallies were violent. I know it seems like a blip on the radar now, but remember that was a theme because there were so many fights, so much violence. But it wasn't Trump supporters who were fighting. It was leftists, agitators, Antifa going into Trump rallies, and they were trying to pick a fight with people. That's where the violence happened. Well, we're sort of seeing something similar now, where these extreme left radicals are going to Democrat rallies, and they are causing a scene. Take a look. This happened in Texas. Tallarico was campaigning. He held a town hall event talking about outreach to black voters, and guess what? Black voters appear to be turning on him.
Stay here, you answer our questions, or you suffer the consequences.
So I'm happy to engage. We'll come to here in just a second. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you traveling in, and I appreciate you.
I did it for my people, not for you.
Wonderful, and I think that's wonderful. I think that's wonderful. And it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. This is what this conversation's supposed to be about. Yeah.
I mean, the Democrats only have themselves to blame. They have been watering, they have been fomenting all of these angry, hateful ideas. They've been creating this mindset of victimhood. They've been sowing division, and now they're beginning to reap the consequences. They thought that they were going to be able to use that to improve their electoral chances. They thought that it would give them power, but instead, it is tearing their house apart, again, from the inside out. As always, though, all of this is just my analysis and commentary. That's what's happening in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So, let's say it was JD Vance or Marco Rubio against a Bernie Sanders or an AOC. Do you think Bill Maher would actually pull the trigger and vote for a Republican, or do you think he's just saying this for attention? Let me know your thoughts. Do you think he's being honest? Do you think he's being genuine when he says he could actually vote for a Republican in 2028? Let me know down in the comments below. Obviously, I believe he's being genuine in all of this, which is why I think it is such a red siren for the Democrats right now. I think they should be paying attention, or they could be facing an upset this year and in 2 years. If you haven't already, please be sure to leave me 2 thumbs up or just a thumbs up. It really does help me in the algorithm to reach more viewers like you. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.